I don't remember where we were, because I didn't play this, not since last Saturday, actually. I didn't play this on Tuesday, did I? Because I was feeling kind of aggravated, and I decided not to stir it up even more by dealing with this game. Not that it's super aggravating, but sometimes it can be a bit obtuse. So I might be a little out of practice reading out loud, bear with me. And you're grinding the old school project, eh, King?
Nice.
Good luck with it. Ah, good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. Wasn't talking to you, Maya. She's talking to me. Shut up. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended up on a giant mystery. That's true. We still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Yeah, so let's remind ourselves, actually. What are we here for? Maggie Bird is accused of poisoning a customer's coffee cup in this restaurant, Tribulations. The guy apparently, we found out, won a $500,000 lottery ticket. And he was also meeting, supposedly, with El Tigre. Furio Tigre, the tiger. He's a loan shark. Also kind of looks like us and made his own little fake cardboard badge. And came to represent Maggie and did such a piss poor job of it, got her sent down for the murder. So we've appealed the case now to recover our, reputation and help her get out of it, because she passed out after this guy died of poisoning. We also found out that Glenn Elg, whose name is the same spelled backwards, if you if you pick up on that, was a programmer, and he made a virus called MC Bomber, and that's attacking all the police computers, civic systems, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the virus is also missing. There was a CD of it on the table, which Maggie remembers seeing, and it's now gone. We know that the chef, Jean Armstrong, Tribulations owner, has a lot of debt. We think he was involved in this in some way. He also has a habit of stealing things from people. And these people here, the company of Blue Screen Inc., where Glenn Elg worked, who is absolutely not a robot, they kind of knew about this. And it's a bit of a problem. We also know that Furio Tigre kind of works for Bruto Cadaverini, who's a mob boss. This is his daughter, and he's supposedly in love with her, or so he plays up. But he basically crashed into her car with his scooter. And then he had to pay for the car repairs, and he's playing up like he loves her now. And it's put him in the hole by a lot of money, so he's calling in all his markers. Yeah, going from Yakuza to Yakuza. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. So, yeah, the old dude here, Victor Kudo, swears up and down about a few things, though. Including the fact that, he says he broke a vase. It was at his seat, not at the victim's. He said the victim broke his vase, but we caught him out and said that was obviously not true. And I can't remember what else there was, but I think that's going to come into play when we figure out where he was sitting, maybe? I'm not sure. It's weird that we kind of have this as part of our thing, So, yeah. Also, it's a poisoning. It was potassium cyanide, which we found, but this was inside Maggie's apron. What else was there? The prescription bag, that was the ear medicine, but we don't know where the vial of ear medicine is, but I think that was what we gave to Gumshoe, and we haven't heard about whatever the hell that was. Glenn Elg was also deeply in debt because he likes gambling, and he got very deep in the hole. And that's the fake lawyer badge right there, that's a bit shit. So he got deep in the hole. But we got another Gumshoe lunch, yes. Right, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So we think that Glenn Elg made the MC Bomber virus to pay off his debts, because it's worth a lot of money. Yet somehow it's been unleashed on the populace since the last month when this murder took place. So, let's see where we go from here. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No. That wasn't doubt, that was determination. It was a flash of determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Not creepy at all. Yeah. Oh, right, okay. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Oh, here we go. Yeah, maybe this will help, huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Yeah, these were found among Jean Armstrong's aromatherapy bottles, but I think it's Glen Elg's ear medicine. Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Hmm? Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Tribulations' kitchen a couple of days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many they're overflowing onto the floor. I'm pretty sure we didn't find this when Maya was a maid, did we? We found this well before she got press-ganged into an hour's worth of, you know, waitressing duty. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. One of these bottles does not belong. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what was it? Is it the poison? I already have that. I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears, you mean? Yep, it's the medication Glen Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum, because he got beaten up, apparently, and that ruptured his eardrum. So he'd been to the pharmacy that day to get something for his ears. Or the doctors, or whatever. What was Glen Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Ickle LJ, thank you for the host! How are you today? Good to see you. So we have the small bottle. This is the victim's ear medicine. Found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. I bet those fingerprints will belong to Jean Armstrong. He likes to steal shit. Doing very good, thank you very much. Had a fun day yesterday, playing some Blades in the Dark character creation. So I was really, really hyped for that. We're playing the first game on Sunday. Yes! So I can't wait to just get stuck into that. So today I spent a bit of time working on character, you know, backstory and that kind of thing, and thinking about it. But yeah, I'm really, really digging it. I'm looking forward to it. Although my neck and my shoulder are a entirely different story. I've been getting a bit of strain these last few days. The longer I sit here, the worse it's going to get. So it might be a shorter stream than normal today. It might not go well 8. We'll see how my shoulders feel. I managed to kind of roll out the pain a little bit today and put a hot wheat bag on it, but we'll see if it comes back. So, what about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but you've had it for like a fucking day and a half. That's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. Ace Attorney of Law. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Oh, here we go. Yep. So, coffee. Should we reset the counter? And no, this is still the same trial though, right? I say we keep it going for the trial. We'll reset it for every trial. But there we go. Ding! Claudash! Hi! How's it going? Good to see you. So yeah, over in the bottom left there, we've got a little coffee counter. That's for this guy. Apparently he only drinks 17 cups in a session. only. He doesn't drink any more than that. So we're counting them, and he only got to 7. Every time a new one slides in, we beep, tick it off. I'm doing good, thank you very much, although I was just telling everyone my shoulders hurt, my neck's stiff, so I managed to sort of loosen it up a bit today, but it could come back. The last couple of days I've been dealing with this, so yesterday I spent the evening with the hot wheat bag on. We may do a short stream today, we'll see how it goes. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honour. Very good then. Well, we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony, if you can call it that, of Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. That's it. I couldn't remember what it was that... It was like... He was adamant that he saw these things, and then we proved his memory is shit because he forgot whether or not the victim knocked a vase over or whether he did. And we showed in the picture, the picture, like, you know, from the crime scene photo, with the victim there, the vase was intact and standing up. So then he remembered it was his own. So that threw doubt on his whole testimony, but he's adamant that this happened. And now we're wondering if this was... What's her name? Creepy Cadaverini girl. Viola Cadaverini. You shared a meme you just made. Oh no, what are you throwing in my Discord? True story. Oh no. I like it. That's good. So yeah, he claims to have witnessed the coffee, the powder being put in the coffee by the waitress. But we've got to prove that that waitress isn't Maggie. But she was the only one on duty that day. But he didn't see her face. We proved that. And I think it's Viola Cadaverini. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank with his right hand. Yeah, and he said he picked it up with his left hand. Because he said he had like an earpiece and then he grabbed the cup. But also his left eardrum was the ruptured one, so why would he have an earpiece in there? What was he doing there? Don't know. Maybe he was just applying the medicine. And the guy thought he was putting an earpiece in. Is that Comic Sans? Maybe it is. Nothing wrong with Comic Sans, it's a perfectly fine font. It's not Judge. According to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to a radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Design is my passion. I found a 10-hour loop of this. I'm not going to say that I'm playing it sometimes in the morning while I'm having a cup of coffee, but, you know, I still have to look up that thing you mentioned as well, Freya, the, was it like an orchestral version of this or something? Huh. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me know. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. Oh. And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef of Le Très Bien restaurant, Enchanté. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am le pert and perky gentleman, no? What's wrong, Georgie? You seem a bit flustered by something. On the day of the incident, you were in Tribulations' kitchen. Isn't that right? Whiz you, monsieur. Oh, whiz you, monsieur. Everything feels right. Oh, here we go. He likes the sound of that. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna have another coffee. There we go. Huh. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Maybe he's just very secure in himself. You know? I'd be perfectly comfortable around a guy like that too. It's fine. Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Tell the court what happened on that day at Tribulations. Oui. Volontaires, tires. I can't speak anything. Any language other than bad English, so sorry if I mispronounce a lot of this. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with the new Art Deco that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. La cup, la earpiece, and la glass. See, I said this. Everything is the wrong way round. It would be mirror imaged. But he did get the glasses right. He did say that the kid had like one of those half shades with a lens over only one eye, and he said it was the left eye. So he got that right. Interestingly enough. So he would have seen everything in reverse, no? Mirror? Oui, un grand mirror. La most enormous mirror. And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Phoenix, you need a coffee, mate. You need a coffee. Go speak to Godot. He's got his own blend and everything. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. So, there were just 2 customers in the restaurant. Hold it! And who were the 2 customers exactly? Why, of course, the young man who died, and the other not-so-young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Yeah, the chef didn't see him, but if we look at the floor plan, from the kitchen, where the X is, the victim was sitting in the right-hand chair. There's dividing partitions, so the left-hand chair is where the other man was sitting, and from the kitchen, no way you see that. But the photograph that was taken from the kitchen door shows there is a chair that is in view. But the chair is kind of pushed out to the side as though someone had just left, instead of it being way over compared to the other one. I had a thought about that. Oh god, just you wait. Oh no. Alright, so the other man she saw at the table. I mean, obviously he may be lying, we'll see. Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. Experimenting with Art Deco. You were experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about that before today? You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did just a few moments ago. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of découture? Découture. No. Art Deco, it's a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that sort of thing. Ah, yes, of course. That deco. I was trying to achieve a look, more la effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of la decor. Like having large mirrors between the tables. How big of a mirror are we talking here? Enormous, monsieur. Oof, something about 4 meters wide and, 2 meters high? Freaking huge mirror. That's a wall. Let's see, if 1 meter is about 1 yard, holy glass in a frame, that's huge. Holy glass in a frame, I like that. I was intending to install it on la ceiling eventually. No. No. I've heard about bedrooms in hotels that have that. Let's not. Ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. Oh, you found a link for it? Awesome. If you could pop it in my music share section, that would be awesome. No, but I decided not to go through with it at the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror? Press it. I need to find out where the mirror was. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it, but there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie's Bird's testimonies. But... Objection! Objection! Thank you! You didn't ask, right? You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Tribulations that day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes, and as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. Well, that doesn't add up. If he didn't use it, then how could he say that it was the reason? Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. Huh. If you want to doubt someone, try it. Look into the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in the mirror. You think he would have known that? Normally I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you. Huh? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? Wow, there's no need to bring hairstyles into it. Mr. Windswept and interesting. And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here. Well, Trite. Ugh. Not the hair. I do not have a top knot. You kinda do. Mr. Godot's correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Again, logic has won la day. So, he would have seen everything in reverse. Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse? Like the lens on his glasses? Hey Nick, we should take a sec and think about what the old CD said in his testimony. How did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing an earpiece the same side as the green lens on his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. See, that's how he knew. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup of coffee, his left hand. If he saw everything he described reflected in the mirror, then everything he said on the left was actually on the right, huh? And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Huh. Kinda hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would have explained all the contradictions in his testimony. That just makes Maggie's situation worse. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. Just gotta dig deeper. Yeah, they're right. So do we actually have that? I mean, we've got that. But we don't have like a written testimony. Or a snippet that we can pull out and say, here. Or do we? No, that's not it. So I wonder if we're supposed to use Glen Elg with that. because that says Warren HMD over the left eye, and the left eardrum was ruptured, so those two pieces of information do contradict shit. So I think we've got to do it with this. And since I'm being big brain, I'm not even going to save it just in case the game crashes. Because I'm so damn confident. Oh yeah. We're living dangerously today, you guys. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? Big brain time, yes. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in the mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, is not so odd, no? No, you missed the point. Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? And you can only wear those one way round, right? You can't just flip it upside down. Order, order, Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed a victim's reflection in the mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Boom! 10 coffees! Oh, hey, I get to do the... There we go. Flip it over. Because it doesn't centralize the text for some stupid reason. How bitter. Try. You should have tasted this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume? The I broke the vase, sorry, apology, I mean Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony. Exactly, the old man has the very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And that's what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg. Clearly it's the victim's eyepiece. So you're saying that just because the earpiece and lifting the coffee cup are less impressionable than the eyepiece, then the eyepiece is something he's muddling up. This is 100% circumstantial bullshit right now. Sorry, but it just is. He certainly wouldn't have confused the fact that he used that to say it was definitely the left hand and left eye. If anything, he's just proving our point for us anyway. There was no mirror involved in that case. He got it confused on the wrong side, and it was the right hand and the right ear. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's glugging through this coffee. That's 11 now. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh, yes. They were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Huh, well tried. Nice impression. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Godot's good. Brad! Hey dude, how's it going? Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of contradiction you found is just a rash. Not bad. Bad neck though, but not bad. It's a bit stiff. See how it goes. Guido! Back in court, I see. Yes. Thank you for the 10 bits. Awesome of you. How are you doing today? A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oh, oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Trying to get your brain working. Good stuff. You know what Godot would recommend? Coffee. Absolutely. Zamira. Hello, as everyone is sitting comfortably? No. My neck hurts. La mirror was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. Okay. If that's the case, and he did see it in the reflection, this means that the old man was sitting in the top left. In the left-hand seat, to be precise. Thank you very much for the posture check. Ugh. Because, yeah, my neck is absolutely bad. So, you see, we were under the assumption he was in the bottom right chair, or at least that's what the game kept showing us. But he never said where he was. We were just assuming that because it's the only place he could have seen. But again, I don't know. It's really weird. Here is the only seat from which you could have seen the image of the victim. Just a random mirror, exactly. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible accident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. Interesting. So if the old man knocked his vase over, the vase on that table wasn't broken either. Interesting. I see no problems with the explanation we've just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, refusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there. Urgh, I hate that guy. Damn you, Godot. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteers, of course. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, so this is where I think the breaking of the vase is going to come into it. Let me just have a look at the evidence again. What about this picture? Aha! We can see the vase from here. Good. Nice. Here we go. So the mirror was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. To run this by me again, the mirror was here, correct? Oui. Oui? Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way. Exactly. There's not a lot of space for the waitresses to get past.
Objection!
Objection! Look who's talking, Trite. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But this is my seat in the courtroom. Tribulations' charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, monsieur, la mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. But then, if it gives you a view of another customer, then that loses the charm that Godot just said, right? So there's only one seat that he could have seen it from. Where would that be? Ooh la la! Look how you lean towards me. And it wouldn't be very much in the way, exactly. Coming and going from, like, fire code, that's it. But, I mean, that's real-life logic. This game doesn't have that. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Oh, God. Shall I tease you too? Oh, God, there's another coffee. Godot's loving this. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time. He's seeing a very hot someone. There's a clue about his character. Oh my God, is he gonna be like... Is he with Franziska von Karma? I bet he is. Yes, game logic 2D waitress. So it just, you know, turn sideways and move between the partitions. You can squeeze through easily. I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Bien, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. That was the seat at the table, blah blah blah. Okay. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? Because of how mirrors work, Phoenix. Mais monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at the plans, you will understand. La victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no? But that's the seat old Seedy was sitting at that day, when the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Where can you get some of that perfume for the wife? Starbucks. Just go in, grab a coffee, take it home and say, just, you know, put a little bit of this on. There we go. Darlene, hi, how's it going? Why does that seem kind of odd? After the terrible incident occurred, we moved the mirror, so it was not easy way. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant then. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself? What can I say? I know how to pick things up, handsome. Damn. Finally got your sky scale. Nice. Enjoy. Godot actually laughed at something. Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it's possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I looked like the obliging type, no? Did not touch anything else. You refused to go into Starbucks. Hate learning a new language just to order a coffee. It's like, can I just get a large, please? You mean the medium one? The you know, not the grande, but the one down from it, yeah. It's like, no, just a large coffee, mate. The largest one you have. Give me the biggest coffee in the shop. And no, you can't have my name. Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except La Mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something that the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yes, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Huh. Suffering from a case of heartburn, Trite. Oh, I have just the thing for that. An oil with golden myrrh and frankincense. Your local one just takes 3 large. Just takes large? Oh, excellent, yes. Just like, give me the large white mocha, thank. Yes. I mean, where I go in Canada, where my wife lives, the hub, in her local town, there's like 20-ounce mugs, and I'm like, one of those, please, just fill it with coffee. I mean, sometimes I get something different, but mostly it's just, yep, 20-ounce, you know, black, and just fill it up to the top. Nothing else, no adulterates, thank you. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. I'm not sure I would want to consume oil of frankincense and myrrh. You've got a 24-ounce mug? Nice. That's a mug right there. Absolutely. I've got a 44-ounce mug. Those really great big ones. Huge. Focus, Phoenix, breathe. I need to ignore those two and just find some evidence. It's pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't and neither did old Seedy. And the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Tribulations that day. Just gotta prove it somehow. Alright. So, it's a grenade-shaped one? Nice! That's what you want. Coffee bomb. Okay, so, oh god, I think maybe the game might crash in a minute, so I'm just going to save it. Because, you know, that happens sometimes. I just kind of want to try this first. Because he says he didn't touch anything else at the crime scene. He did take this. Oh. I think the game just froze. Oh, there we go, it's back. We're fine. False alarm, everybody. Alright, so where do we want to... I think it's this one we need to press with this. He broke the vase at his seat, he's sorry. If we're saying that he sat at that table, that's the one to the left on that picture. The vase isn't broken and he says he didn't move anything else. He didn't change, he didn't clear anything up. And this was taken, I mean obviously you can tell the dead body there. This is like straight after the crime, you know, so yeah. So I think we have to push with this. There we go. Your Honor, Mr. Kudo's words yesterday strongly contradict Mr. Armstrong's testimony. This is the letter of apology that was written by Mr. Kudo, is it not? I realize it looks useless, Your Honor, but this is still testimony. Huh. I guess people are only really good at identifying useless things. What relevance does this scrap of paper have to the trial, Mr. Wright? Mr. Kudo's testimony is actually very relevant to the question at hand, Your Honor, because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Ah, here we go. This one. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Wow, the shade today from this guy. From Mr. Triple Shades. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist? There's only one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting, and yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror at Tribulations that day, and Kudo wasn't sitting at that chair. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! Sacre bleu! Merde! Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously the witness cleaned up the vase. Nuh-uh, he just said he didn't touch anything. Nuh-uh. While the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong has already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except for the mirror. Yeah, do not spill coffee. Absolutely. It's unforgivable. It's a sin. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Never mind the bib. Let's just get to it, you know, come on. Speak up. I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? Huh. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, back it up with some evidence and hope that the game doesn't crash. Then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Oh man. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? No. There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us. There was another man at the victim's table, and there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Okay. The ear doctor made a mistake. I don't think it matters which ear you put the cream in. They don't sell, you know, topical cream specifically for the left or right ear. The victim was a phony. Oh my god. I don't like any of these options. I don't understand what it means by the victim was a phony. What are they trying to suggest? That there wasn't really a victim and he didn't die? And the ear doctor making a mistake. What? Did he mistake his left for right ear? I think that the victim would know which ear he can't hear out of. So that just leaves Kudo making a mistake. What do you mean by the victim? I just can't get past this. Not that I think it is, but what does it mean? The victim was a phony. A phony what? Really? What? A lookalike? Yeah. Someone looking like this guy, but listen, I mean, who the hell? So let's think this through. So, Glen Elg sitting drinking coffee, Kudo sees him on his own, drinking coffee, gets wound up at the sight of him listening to the radio with all the lottery tickets out, and the earpiece in, and the headphones on, and drinking from a different hand. And then the guy collapses after a waitress brings something, sprinkles it into his cup. He never sees her from the front, which to me suggests that she came out of the kitchen, served him, and then left. It's not really a waitress. And the guy collapses. He runs off to call the cops. This guy comes in and cleans up the mirror to get it out of the way, supposedly, but we don't think so now. Who is the other eyepiece person? This is the boss of the company, Lisa Basil, CEO of Blue Screens Inc. This is where Glen Elg works. He made a virus, like, in this spare time, that is now tearing havoc through all the police computers and everything. And supposedly was meeting with the Tiger. We know that because that was on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger. See, the thing is, if they did this to try to clear the restaurant and get the old dude out of the restaurant so then they could have a clandestine meeting without the Tiger being there, then that could be what it means by a phony. It was just to get a potential witness to a murder out of there. But then Maggie would have been there afterwards. There's a half-hour gap, I think, to when Kudo called the police. It's sometime between 1:30 and 2:30 was the death, which is a very wide window. Because they say that he didn't call the police for, like, a while. Because he went to go call by payphone. Piecing it together? I know. But I'm thinking deep. We're going down the rabbit hole, you guys. Not sure the game is this crazy, but could the CEO pretend to be the programmer, then plant the body? Maybe. I mean, the thing is, Maggie is also a witness in a sense. She served the guy, so she got a good look at him. She definitely served him. This is our defendant. She served him coffee, and then after one sip, the guy keeled over. At the sight of that, she passed out. So, if they bring the body in, that's not going to track. That doesn't work. You know. But that could have happened after Kudo left, if that's what it means by a phony. That could have happened after Kudo left, and then this guy shows up, and so does the tiger. Now that he's out of the way, because they wanted a quiet meeting. They got Jean Armstrong, who owes money to them, to clear his restaurant. Like having a fake incident. So he's complicit. I mean, with those dead freaking chocolate button eyes that he's got there, I'm not surprised. Guy has no soul, look at him. But that means that they knew there was going to be a killing. Because, I mean, why cause an incident and then go call the police only for there to be no incident when they get there? It's kind of friggin' stupid. So he knew there was going to be a murder, which means Glen Elg was being set up to be killed. And they'd set the circumstances so Kudo could then frame Maggie without realizing it, because he's genuinely testifying to what he saw. But they got a couple of details wrong. They didn't know about his earpiece. So who would be the fake Glen Elg, though? What the hell? I don't know. That just, it works and it doesn't at the same time. I do not like this. I mean, I can just save it and try all three. I'd rather get it right the first time, you know? That makes no... That's the same argument we were making yesterday. I can't imagine it's that. Mr. Kudo made a mistake, but it's the only one that kind of fits. You know, he did get left and right confused. Hell, maybe the guy doesn't know his left from right. The possibility. But then he would have said that the earpiece was in his, on the other side anyway. He said everything was done with the left hand. Left hand to pick up the cup, left hand to touch the earpiece, left hand with the glasses. That means everything would have been on the right anyway, which is wrong. He would have had an earpiece in his right ear, lens on his left ear. Everything's too mixed up. The ear doctor making a mistake is stupid. That just makes no sense. I mean, the victim would know what ear is not hearing out of. See how this goes. This case is riddled with contradictions, yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Nani? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glen Elg at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. There it is. Another cup. Damn, that spit take. Order! Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Somebody wipe up that coffee. Ew. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? Whoa now, Godot. Respect your elders. What did you say? Trite, are you saying what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glen Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Objection. So there it is, that's what I was saying. So weird, but hey, this game, I've seen some weird shit over the last 2.5 Phoenix Wright games. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about on his testimony was... The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but put something in it. That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. But she wasn't necessarily the one who actually delivered the coffee. It's so hard to believe, but... There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. But we've already shown that he couldn't possibly have identified it was Maggie Bird because he never saw her face. And that if he ever saw her from the front, he would have noticed all the stains on the apron, including the great big ketchup stain that some people thought was blood. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. How, he would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You're under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense request for the additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Oui. Oui. The victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to the restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won la lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do that acting. So he's still sticking to his bullshit story. Just so we're clear. There was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Javon, I demand pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you've just done is committed perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. You've been a bad boy, Armstrong. For now, we will hear your cross-examination, Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. Yes, spanking. Grandpa gonna put you over his knee. But I'm guessing he'll be in a more serious trouble after the cross-examination. Alright. So he came to the restaurant alone. Udgy, please. Oh no. Grandpa, Udgy, don't. He was alone at his table as well? Oui, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Huh. Unfortunately for you, Trite. Yesterday's witness also testified the victim was alone. But we need to break through that. We need to prove that the first part was theatrics, And then Elg walked in afterwards with his guest. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee's he been drinking? Scorpion coffee. It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Oh my god. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. By old man you mean Victor Kudo, correct? He comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth the sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome any time. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more. Oof! Ouch! Savaged. So, Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time of the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How many minutes after, first of all? So you're saying not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in a gap of time. By your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, so practically fucking to the minute then. That's all? It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have pursued the line of questioning. No, this is all useful. Go back and ask the next one. What time was it that they arrived? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh, no, I cannot remember, monsieur. Sure you can. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? That incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So he's saying he arrived just after 2, 5 minutes past 2. 2 and 2:10. It's a very tight window of opportunity, isn't it? Just after 2. Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? Time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge, I do everything I do for you. God, I need a Bryan Adams clip on my sound deck for that. Damn. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person's in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. What the hell is happening to this judge? Yeah, oui, baguette. Yes, exactly. So the old man arrived not long after him, just 2 p.m. So they arrived at 2 and then the incident happened within 5 minutes, supposedly. Everything I do it for you. Yep. Right, press this now. We unlocked this one. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui. It was the time I stopped serving the lunch menu. Quite right, I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. Haha. You should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. No, you don't. Witness, get on with your testimony, please. Quickly, the judge's stomach is grumbling. So, is there anything on here that has a time on it? Let's see, between 1:30 and 2:30. That says there's a note, meet with the tiger, but it doesn't say when. Dude was listening to this, the Millionaire Radio, which is where they draw the lottery numbers. 1:30. Yeah. So that kind of screws that up, doesn't it? Right, let's hold on to that. Let's just press all the others first and see what else comes of it. No other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind bird seed to make coffee, if you catch my drift. I'm pretty sure you can, but it wouldn't be very nice. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. So when he got word he'd won the lottery, he became very excited. So he couldn't have gotten word of that around 2 if the drawing was at 1:30. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, yes, $500,000. Find the hole! Yeah, so we've got to find the right hole, though. Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. What about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. And you were in the kitchen and didn't see any of this, but you saw it. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. A choking. Approximately 5 minutes later, the poisoning occurred. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, what do you mean? There is the renowned chef Jean Armstrong and la tragic poet Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem and an angry tale of a chef in $500,000 of debt. Looking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called... Oh god, what is that? Porcio? Oh, yeah. Porcio. Is that correct? It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for la court. Please don't. Please no. Mercy. Okay. There was no time for phony doings. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from la payphone. Not the phone in the freaking shop though, like the one on the counter. By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Again, it seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act? Yes. So actually, Glenn Elg died first, given this timeline. Maggie passed out. And then they decided to structure a fake poisoning to show the next customer. And they kept the body probably hidden in the kitchen and then put it back when he went to go call the police. Which is why the timeline for the death is probably so big when you think about it. Oh, wrong. 1:30 to 2:30, yet we know supposedly this all happened around 2. But then again, wouldn't Maggie have known what time she was working and when? But she did say she fell unconscious for about 20 minutes to half an hour. And then the police were already there. What if she was unconscious for longer and she just never knew? What if Armstrong used some of his aromatherapy oils to keep her sedated? Like Valerian or something. Okay, so we'll know for sure once I find a hole in the testimony. So we remember he arrived not long after him, just 2 PM. Alright, so we know that's complete bollocks. Because of this. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to a radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was a Millionaire Radio. Each week they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be la show mon Elg was listening to. I can't see any problem with the testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 PM, correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was at the time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. The show is broadcast live at 1:30, and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30. Now, supposedly the victim made some noise when it was announced that he'd won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred at 2 PM. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point. None! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to a radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. His radio was slow. I mean, you know, think about it. When you're playing a Walkman and the batteries are low, it gets slower. Do radios work that way? I'm sure they do. Lag. That's it, yep. There's some heavy buffering on that radio. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the witness for Mr. Kudo, or acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Right, Judge? Quite the performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build that song. What is this? Music Theory 101. Let's recap according to your imaginative theory. It's now just after 2 PM. A phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. By the way, no, a radio low on battery power gets quiet. I know, I was joking. Thank you, Mr. Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours? Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? The kitchen. Customers don't go in the kitchen. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. A piece of evidence. Ooh. Ooh. And the lobster. Oh my god, he said it wasn't actually lobster. Oh, no. I doubt it.